So, hi everybody. I thought I'd keep with the last 2 weeks theme basically of discussing about being like a product tester and product reviewer. Today I thought I'd talk about product review requests because usually once you get into this sort of niche, you will have companies reach out to you or sellers depending on what your outreach is and things of that nature. Since I had been reviewing items on Amazon that I had personally purchased for many years, that's how a lot of the sellers find my information basically. And then they do occasionally find me through other websites such as Thomason or other my social media and things of that nature as well. So it's interesting when you have a review request. I will insert an example of one right around here. So I will be right back. So this is an example of what a typical email would be. Many sellers occasionally send you photos of what the product is. This one happened to be for an Amazon review request. I'm no longer able to post reviews to Amazon, but still, that's what they were asking for. Usually you can go ahead and decline if you're not able to fulfill the request. So stay tuned. So per my previous mention of the review request, some sellers, especially the ones from Amazon, occasionally do send you again photos of what they have, or they just send you general links, or they have you jump through hoops, which is basically they want you to search for their product so they can have a bump in their search, I guess, history, or however the Amazon system works. I have been contacted by sellers from overseas as well, like China-based companies or companies again from overseas. Again, this probably will vary depending on the platforms that you use and your comfort level of sharing products and what tasks are asked of you. I do have occasionally a lot of messages via social media like Facebook or Instagram. Twitter every once in a while, but hardly ever. It's mainly usually Instagram and Facebook. And they basically ask if you want to review X product, or if they have a product for you to review. If you'd like to, please contact them. This kind of goes back to what I mentioned last week, and I'll add those 2 video links in the description below before I forget to mention that, about having to deal with, I lost my train of thought, sorry everybody, having to deal with sellers that want to pay you back, because that seems to be the biggest thing right now, is that they want you to pay for it so it comes out as a valid sale, and then they PayPal you your money back. As I also mentioned last week, that can be a violation of terms for Amazon and many other websites. So you will want to do your homework, and you will want to make sure that you don't lose your account or have what I had happen. Basically, I'm no longer able to post reviews or ask questions. That's the one that gets me. I like being able to ask a question for a product, but I can't do that anymore either, because Amazon said I violated their terms of service, yet they're very aware of the shady sellers that do the payback. So I don't know. But getting back on track for a second, you will have to again do your homework and just make sure that the product is something that you can use, because you do end up, as I've also mentioned various times, you do end up with a lot of clutter. So when I first started, I basically reviewed everything and anything they gave me, and now I'm getting a little pickier, because I know, now I know that I either don't have the room for it, I don't need it, or I'm just not going to use it. So if it's things that I'm really not going to use more than a handful of times, I usually decline. If it's other things that I can't share or donate, I decline. And there's other stuff too that sometimes I just don't want. So you can be honest and say, no, thank you. You will have some sellers that will harp and bug you to no end. I've had some, as I mentioned in previous videos, that will send me numerous emails asking me if I can review through Amazon now. And I explain to them another 50 times that I'm still not able to. And then 2 weeks later, I get the automated email saying, hello, friend, would you like to review, this light? So it's kind of runs the gambit. But I was also going to mention that occasionally you get some interesting surprises for review requests. I had a few things that were quite surprising. I don't know if they were from the same seller or not, but I had a few adult related items, shall we say. I had a request for some very cheap looking, and I mean cheap looking, nipple clamps. They look like they were 2 cheap clamps that you bought at your local Dollar Tree, and some cheap chain. I had that. I also had a few other things that were in that realm. And I also had, which made me laugh for about 20 minutes. I had a review request for the restraints, and like for the bondage restraints. And it was some sort of, it was a kit, because it was the wrist straps and the ankle straps, and then I guess you slid them under your bed frame. From what I was reading from Amazon, I was like, oh, I was quite surprised that they were very expensive. The whole set I think was almost $40 or something. I was like, oh, that's pricey. And it just kind of made me laugh, because I'm like, how on earth are you going to do this on your own? That would require 2 people. And it's not like you're going to call your friend and say, hey, will you come over and do this for me and take some pictures, and then you can go home. It's quite, it's quite an interesting thing sometimes. But I didn't have very many of those. I probably had like 4 at the most for those requests. But it did make me laugh, because I couldn't stop laughing when I was like, what is this? I had something else for another request that was, again, something similar in the adult sex play realm, and I sat there and I was looking at the product and I'm like, what is that, cufflinks? It wasn't cufflinks. But I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, what are these? So I sat and I looked at them, then I clicked on the link, of course, and I was like, oh, now I know what they are. I don't know. I understand all that stuff needs to be reviewed, but it's kind of funny, because you're like, no, thank you. But it's quite funny, because again, you never know what you're going to get, but, or have them ask you anyways. But most of the time it's fairly simple and it's fairly easy. But again, you just have to do your homework, and you have to decide what you really would like and what you necessarily won't review. And you always have the ability to say no. And just watch out for the shady sellers, because there are a lot of them out there. And just try to stick with what you think you feel comfortable with. And I hope everybody has a good day. Excuse me. Bye.